You know, up flying middle of nowhere, dropping off thousands of these. I have no idea what it says.
Death to America.
What?
Death to America. But this part, it definitely means death to America. I remember from the game I was playing.
This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show, Death to America. Now, some of you may remember I covered this movie a few months ago, the trailers for this film called Leave the World Behind. And now the movie has come out and people have seen the movie, and there couldn't be a movie more important for people to see if they actually want to see what's coming than Leave the World Behind. But of course, instead what people see when they watch this movie is they go and they Google and they try to find out on YouTube, what are the hidden meanings? Where are the Easter eggs in the film? Well, let me tell you the non-hidden meaning of the film. The message of the film that many people have watched is that they could tell you right to your face what they are doing right now, how they are doing it right now, and how you can survive what is about to come, yet you'll still watch the movie and you still will not see it. I'm going to break down this film and show you all the messages, and for long-time subscribers, you've seen this over and over again, but now you've probably never seen it quite like this, where we have a doomsday type film that literally talks about civil war, grid shutdown, 5G frequencies, you name it. They reveal it in this film, and I'll break it down and show you clips that I took the time to record so I could make this film for you, this video for you, so you could get it. And we start off, of course, with a few symbols I'll show you before the real breakdown comes, but I have to just point these out because the film starts off, and as you saw in that clip, you have the snake eating its own tail, because of course that's what's getting thrown down from the sky by these mystery people. Are they Chinese? Are they Russian? It's the boogeyman who's dropping leaflets from the sky that appear almost like chemtrails from the sky pouring down on people. And what does it mean? It means death to America, Ouroboros, right? Snake eating its own tail is what you see, and people don't realize what that means. We're going to eat ourselves. Then, of course, the movie starts. It starts with the character lying in bed with 666 symbology, right? You see a 6 on his mug, you see a 6 on his clock, and then on the other side of the room, you see a 6 on the digital clock, all deliberately shown to you just like that, so you could see who's producing this production. And of course, as we go throughout the film, we see tons of things that I'll get into in a minute, but I have to show you just the obvious ones, like the all-seeing eye symbolism in the background, right? Because, of course, the home that they're at while the chaos is going down must have been a former, or the owner must be an optometrist, right? The man in the tuxedo must be an optometrist. I mean, he's a Freemason, he's a member of secret societies, but he also must be an optometrist. They all seem to love eyeballs, like the eyeball on the back of the dollar bill, of course. This is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Barack Obama is one of the people whose production company, Higher Ground Productions, that uses the Freemasonic staircase as their logo, was one of the people behind critiquing the script for the film to make sure it was accurate. And nobody's suspicious about that. Barry Obama, who began the United States of America's demise, of course, we're told he's was a great president, wonderful president. If you question him, you're only doing so because of his skin color, not for the fact that our country has never been the same since, because it's been sold out. And all of our world leaders have betrayed us, as you'll see in this movie plot as I reveal it to you. But Barry Obama, of course, was who they went to for feedback on the script, because who would better know how this is all going to play out than Barry, right? But nobody thinks about that when they see something like that. Like, why would they go to Barack Obama if this is a fictional film, and Michelle Obama, and how this would play out with cyber attacks that I've warned about, fake cyber attacks? All these things would be done from within. Elevated radiation levels detected near multiple population centers. Seek immediate shelter, right? Radiation attacks, White House in major cities, under attack by rogue armed forces, boogeymen armed forces, which would be your CIA and your FBI doing it. They don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. They only care that if you care about that, because that's how they keep you divided, which they go into in the film as well, because it's really just an eye-opener. But let me just show you this clip and this breakdown of the phases to create this absolute chaos from within, which is what they're doing right now, and nobody can see it.
What just happened here is happening everywhere. We need to get to that bunker Danny told us about, and we need to get there now.
You know something?
I had a sneaking suspicion, but I wanted more information first. All the signs were there, sure, but I didn't want to scare anyone. Call me crazy because it is crazy. It would have made more sense if we were on the brink of an all-out invasion. I didn't think we'd actually let something like this happen. I thought we were smarter than that. My primary client works in the defense sector. I spent a lot of time cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple three-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. The first stage was isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible. For the second stage, synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation. Overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. The third stage would happen on its own.
What's the third stage?
A coup d'etat. Civil war. Collapse. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country. Because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you. Whoever started this wants us to finish it.
So they can flat out tell you in the film, they pretty much tell you the exact blueprint of what's going down. We can all look at these things, right, with civil unrest, with racial division, chaos, order out of chaos, because of course they leave their calling card all over the place, right? We see the all-seeing eyes I showed earlier. We see Freemasonic checkerboards all over the place on kids' pants, etc., etc. And we see lots of other themes inside the film. We even see, because of course there'll be people out there who are doing little breakdowns, like how come the picture in the background constantly changes? They go out of their way to show you a full room with this big portrait on the wall. And they show it in almost every couple of scenes as the movie progresses. And the picture constantly changes, almost telling you that they're all, as these people continue to go through this chaos and drama, as the veil starts to get lifted about what's really going on, the picture continues to change because their perception of reality is changing. It's almost even paying homage to what is known as the Mandela effect, or some of the mismemories that people are having as they're changing and altering the universe around us on a day in, day out basis. I mean, we're living in a design simulation, and these people are starting to grasp that as chaos ensues around them, right? So they constantly are changing the picture in the backdrop. But I have to get into, before I show you the character who's based on us, of course, I have to talk about this character, this child, because this child in the film, I'll tell you exactly what this child represents. It represents our society. It represents the people that we live among now. It's a child, right? And this child, throughout the film, all this child wants, as chaos is ensuing, is to get somehow service, because the internet's been shut down, because chaos has begun. So all these people disconnected from the internet, like I've been warning, will not know how to live or survive. They will lose their minds. And this child begins losing her mind because her only happy place is to get on Netflix, to get on a DVD and watch it and get lost in a fake world, like most of the people we live around, who can't face what's actually occurring right now and constantly distract themselves from what's going on right now. As I've mentioned before, which the Bible references in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. But in today's society, men are not behaving as men. Adults are not behaving as adults. And this child really is representing all the adults in our time, right? That's why the child who is trying to get its internet or her internet or its internet to work so she can finish Netflix because she's got one episode left. She wants to find out if Ross and Rachel are together as the world's ending. That's where her concern is. Does that sound familiar? Like the people around us? And of course they would depict her in a NASA shirt, because only children believe in NASA. Only children believe in space. Only children believe what they're force-fed from our government and perceive it as our reality, and then call everybody else conspiracy theorists and nut jobs because they don't want to face what we've all faced, which is the truth. So the child is wearing a NASA shirt, done by design, of course, with the serpent's tongue and all in the shirt. And as it goes on with this child is confronted, as we constantly see animals that are kind of on the loose, deer, elk, swans, all sorts of things appearing randomly, right? Because frequencies are being used. Frequencies are going off. They're hearing sounds in the sky, right? They're hearing sounds. Where do you think those are coming from? They're coming from those towers, right? Now you're able to hear the sound emission because they're turning on the frequency. It's actually currently on around us. But the animals are starting to kind of go haywire. They're looking like what you would call deer in headlights. And they use these animals to reference that too, as deer in headlights, because this little girl is looking at the animals as a deer in headlights because she has no idea what's going on. No clue. And all she wants to do, as all this is ensuing, as power is at, is just get back to the only place that makes her happy, her television set. Because it's an altered reality, an altered perception of reality that the majority of our society live in and go to escape. Because if you actually study psychology, I've mentioned this before, adults are behaving like children. This is a common thing you see in psychology that psychologists deal with. They revert. They go back to childish things when they have to face difficulty or face conflict. They're afraid to do it. And they've created a society of adults that are afraid to do this. So they constantly go back to being a child. And they don't realize they've been programmed with things like Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. That's why you see so many adults at Disney. And they constantly dismiss it. How many people watch my videos and dismiss it and say, oh, he's no fun. You know, I still like to play video games though, and this or that. And constantly make excuses for these types of behaviors. Well, you can make all the excuses you want, but the simple fact is that those things they've ingrained in us are to weaken you. Whether you like to do it or you don't like to do it, it's not a personal attack on you. And even if it is, grow up, grow a pair, and realize why they're doing it, right? Because they're trying to make you into a child, so you act like this child. And when crap hits the fan, what do? You run, you seek. What is she seeking? Not food, not water. She, at the end of this film, this girl, who the whole time, all she's seeking, all she wants to do is watch the end of Friends and see Ross and Rachel are together. She finds an underground bunker filled with food and information about what's actually going on. And what does she see on the bookshelf? She sees DVDs, and she finds that DVD of Friends. And she's able to get that DVD and put it on inside of someone's underground bunker, which I'll get to. And she's able to watch it. So she has all these other things around her, and that's all she needs to go to her happy place, her dystopia, her disillusioned reality. This is what we're dealing with and living among now, right? Her and her brother with his Obey shirt on, and her with her NASA shirt on as they walk side by side. Couldn't be more in our faces. And all the stuff I've covered, I don't know if anything's been more in our faces. And the film ends with the girl literally putting on Friends while the world's blowing up around her, pressing the play button. And it goes to the credits. And people out there are searching for the meaning. What is the real meaning behind the ending? The real meaning behind the ending is this is what's coming, and that is what the majority of our society is going to be concerned with and care about. Even on death's door, even with it knocking, they're not going to grow up and face what's coming. They're not going to believe what people like us still tell them is coming, who've been preparing them for what's coming, because they don't want to. They refuse to. They'll believe the false narrative, which gets me, of course, to Kevin Bacon. I almost called him Ben. Kevin Bacon, of course. What's Kevin Bacon's role in this? Well, of course, like every movie that has truth, that they have to have the crazy, villainous type, selfish person be betrayed in that manner as somebody like us, survivalist, right? Because you can see Kevin Bacon loading up his car. What does he got there? He's got My Patriot Supply in the trunk. Of course he does, right? By having that in the trunk, you automatically know, because you're not even paying attention, you're subliminally being programmed, he's a prepper. Right? He's got his beard, he's got his gun, right? He's got his football hat on, he's the alpha male, right? These are all things they program you with to despise these types of people. They stereotype everybody so that you automatically put me into something like this, into a group like this. Other people, listen to my child, you put them into a group like this without even realizing what you're doing. Because that's how programming works, right? So Kevin Bacon, of course, was prepared for what came, and I'll show you this clip now because it's pretty funny. The people show up there because the main character's son, his teeth start to fall out because of the radiation exposure. They can't really figure out what it is, but Kevin Bacon knows that it's a direct energy weapon being used, microwave frequencies, which come from those towers again, which they don't make reference to. Well, they do, but they don't show you the towers. They're talking about frequency sounds. Where are these mystery sounds coming from? What are all those things all around us that are going up on a daily basis? We just see them popping up, and we don't even pay attention to them, those 5G towers. Where do you think the frequency is coming from? Frequency disrupting signals. What do you think? I've covered this before with the wind turbines out in the ocean, why all these animals go crazy and haywire. Right? You see all these videos of like dolphins, and they're running into the shores. The orca whales, just whales in general, are attacking boats because their frequencies that they're using from those wind turbines and from the 5G towers, it's making them go, it's messing them up and how they're programmed, how their brains work. They're doing the same thing with human beings. We look at the animals, and some people are like, oh, I could see that, right? Because don't they use sonar animals, right, to communicate, right? They make the sounds and like Echo the dolphin underwater. Oh, okay. So they have the wind turbines that are sending out frequencies that are affecting their sonar, capabilities. Well, with humans, of course, we're too narcissistic to think that they could use those towers to affect our frequencies, but that's exactly what they're doing, which is why you're watching people go haywire. So here's just a little rundown as I show you this clip. Kevin Bacon is prepared as the grid goes down. They show up and they want him to give some of his stuff to them, his medicine to them, right? This is exactly what I've talked about over the years, exactly what's coming. He says the same thing you expect him to say. He's not going to tell you what he's got inside, right? And these people feel, of course, that it's our responsibility to give them food and give them our medicine that we've stored, even though we've warned and they've taken, not only have they not listened, but the worst part about it is these people we warn are taking away our free speech. So it's going to make it even harder for someone like me to even want to help anybody out there who's a lib, etc., because they've taken away my right to help people prepare for this because they can't handle the truth and they consider it hate speech or mean, etc. So they're pretty much aiding this, what's occurring right now or it's about to go down, which is exactly like this movie plays out. So they want his medicine and all this stuff. He talks about the frequencies, the sounds, and, they feel like, hey, he should probably give them what they got because they deserve it. And then, of course, you'll hear the character at the end just talk about he's clueless without his technology. They don't know what to do. They're short-circuiting because his phone doesn't work. So he doesn't know how to find answers without Google. He doesn't know how to find answers. He doesn't know how to find food. None of it because the tech's turned off. Exactly. Take a look at how this horror story plays out.
It's got to have something to do with that noise.
You know something about the noise?
Microwave weapons, they call it, produces a kind of radiation that can be beamed out through sound. I assume it's a war. The beginning of one, anyways. This has to be what they were chattering about.
Chatter, what do you mean, Chatter?
You got to read the papers deeper than page 1.
And knowing how primed you are for these kind of situations, we're thinking you might have some medicine that'll be able to help you.
What I got isn't your business.
We're friends.
That's the old way, George. You're not thinking clearly. When the world doesn't make any sense, I can still do what's rational, which is protect my own. You do is your business.
Now, if you have some medicine that can help him,
Well, we could pay $1,000.
Cash might not mean much if the government falls.
Well, the whole network's down. There's no Venmo or Apple Pay. Cash might be the only thing that means something.
I suggest you try your neighbors, the Thorns. They did a basement conversion on the down low doomsday bunker.
come on, Danny, you can't desert us like this.
Haven't you been picking up on what's going on out there? We've all been deserted.
Only way this ends is if you get back in your vehicle and drive away now.
All the roads are blocked. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now. I can barely do anything without my cell phone and my GPS. I am a useless man. I am begging you, please help my son.
We made a lot of enemies around the world. Maybe all this means is a few of them teamed up.
So this right here is a blueprint for exactly everything we've all talked about. I mean, you know, there's movies out there about the end times and all this stuff, or not end times, but about how a lot of this stuff's going to go down. This pretty much to a T summarizes a lot of it, right? Because Kevin Bacon's character, while there's no villain in it, of course, is portrayed as the villain because he's selfish. Because Kevin Bacon decided to heed the warnings and see the signs and prepare himself with food, water, guns, ammo, and the rest of society, as you'll see throughout the film if you watch it, Julia Roberts and the main character, the other main character are talking about money and stocks and lavish lifestyles. That's what they're all focused on. People like us are focused on food, water, our Bible. Of course, he's a praying man. He mentions prayer in there. He's going to pray. And of course, the guy who wants his food, etc., says those prayers aren't going to get medicine for him right now. Right? These are all direct references to everything going on. And when they talk about misinformation earlier in the clip where I showed you how the phases were going to go down with misinformation, they are the misinformation. The mainstream media is the misinformation. The government itself, our government has gone rogue. So when they're showing you clips, they're talking about, hey, the White House and major cities are under attack by rogue armed forces. First of all, the White House will never really be under attack. They'll probably attack it to make it seem like a rogue attack. I mean, our own government attacking itself, right? Like the snake biting its own tail earlier on that I showed you, right? Falling from the sky. Oh, it's Korea. Oh, it's Russia. Oh, it's the boogeyman. The most important thing to know is when this goes down is that it's your own government. Because eventually when the grid comes back on, they're going to feed you the biggest lies you've ever heard, bigger than the ones they already spew. And they're going to have everybody all riled up to band together. Oh, we'll get you food and water. Come here and you'll believe the narrative that they tell you if you survive what's coming. But most people aren't going to survive what's coming. A lot of people think that they're going to go to people's homes and loot and do these things and get food, and they're going to get shot for the most part. Like it mentions with civil wars. It's all what we've been warning about. They've been working us up. All they need to do now is shut it down, and they will. Everyone out there is like, they're never going to shut the grid down. They keep everyone under control. The grid will be down temporarily. It's going to be down for a long temporary period of time. It's going to come back, and whoever survives it will need the grid to survive, okay? And then we talk about the mark, etc., and everything else that comes with it. But you're going to need to survive the phases, and some people don't want to survive it. Well, I'll also tell you, you might say you don't want to survive, but you don't want to die of starvation. So back to just the Kevin Bacon character. This is perfectly how they depict this whole thing, right? These stereotypes. They do this so, subtly, but at the same time, like, they don't make him out to be the villain. They're like, oh, he's just a guy. He ends up giving them medicine to help out, but it's real difficult. He pulls his gun. He tells him he should have been prepared, all this type of stuff. And then, of course, he gives in. But they make it seem like, well, why? This guy shouldn't be able to have food and supplies because he stored it. He needs to share it with everybody. While the rest of these people who are asking you for your food and supplies are the ones who have silenced all of us. They're the ones who are silencing us from helping people wake up. They're the ones who are helping the government and silence us. They're being little tattletales and ratting on everybody. So people who are going to hear this video who aren't really familiar with my channel, probably, I mean, some of you are new to it, they're going to be like, oh, you're over dramatic. It's coming. I will bet there's nothing to bet. It is coming. It's a guarantee. It's just a question of when. And every day, all you can do is prepare more. This movie shows you the blueprint. Okay, let's summarize. Let's just go back and summarize, right? Yeah, the movie's starting off with the 666. That's done by design. I mean, that is not coincidental. Nobody just put a clock there. It's like, hey, the clock, the cup with the 70s. Oh, the 6 is on it. 76ers fan? Well, they're supposedly from New York, but he's 76. Okay. Well, the 6 is obviously clearly, they're sticking out. The 6 on the other clock. Why is there a clock on the other side? Oh, his wife's. Okay, they're all on 6. Oh, is it 6 o'clock? Because it's 6 o'clock. That's why 2 of the clocks are at 6. Oh, and the mug's just deliberately designed to stand there at this. Give me a break. I mean, this is people, though. They don't want to believe that any of this stuff is programming, right? They show you the all-seeing eye in the background. We see it day in and day out. The cyber attack, the radiation attack, the rogue armed forces. These are all narratives that they're going to end up blaming on things they put in your mind already. Russia, China, the boogeyman in the cave over in the Middle East wearing a towel on his head. These are all things they've built into your brain. And you'll never realize it's your own government who's doing this to you, working together with all the other world governments to bring in the global government, okay, in phases. And they tell you all the phases right to you in the movie, but everyone's just like, ooh and ah. And of course, like I said about the pictures in the background, they change constantly behind Julia Roberts in the main theme of the film. Oh, excuse me, the main home of the film, right? And it's one of those things you slightly pick on because their perception of the real world begins to change because they start waking up. In a sense, but now they don't know what's going on. But their perception starts to finally alter because they've been living in a dystopia, and they're going to continue to, like the little girl in the film. Because instead of facing it when it goes down, these people are going to be running and looking for the closest thing they can get to television. So they'll be looking for DVDs, and somebody with they wouldn't even, maybe for some of these people they wouldn't even care that you have food. They'll just want to get to your DVDs inside your home and watch a Netflix if you have a generator, even though they'll cut the natural gas. But for the time being, say you have power running, solar, whatever, it'll all eventually be cut. But they'll want in there so that they could go live like children more because they can't face things. This is what psychology is. They're telling you this. This child depicts almost every adult in our current society, right? And the 2 children, Obey and NASA. You can't make it up. And of course, when he finds the shelter, that's the main concern of the child. So this is brought to you by Barry Obama, of course, because they went to Barry because they said, Barry, what do you think is going to come here? And Barry said, oh, I know exactly what's going to come. And of course, you know too, Mr. Producer of the movie and director of the movie, because you're in the same secret society I'm in. So of course, that's why I picked you to do the movie. You already know, duh. You know exactly what's coming because we're telling everybody what's coming. And we're giving you the blueprints, like I said earlier. You're going to find videos. If you watch, I recommend people watch it, to be honest with you. I don't recommend movie. It's not a good movie. I recommend you watch it so you could just see how obvious this is. I tried to give you some of the clips so you could see for yourself how obvious it is. It is one of the most in-your-face films. So people are going to look around. They're going to go, what's the hidden meaning? How does the movie, the movie just ends with the girl putting on Friends. And they're like, what ends up happening? That's pretty much what will end up happening. Everything the movie depicts, chaos will ensue, and people who probably are the ones who have Netflix and watch the film, who have Netflix to, hide in Netflix and always watch things to be entertained, they'll be looking to be entertained more instead of facing the dark chaos going on and whatever, of course, gets fed to them. They'll still believe it, still try to silence us and still call it a conspiracy. But the message is this, like I said earlier, they can tell you right to your face what they're doing right now, how they're doing it right now, and they can warn you and tell you how to survive this, and the audience still won't get it. A reminder, check out the website, uprisingrevival.com, and make sure you sub to my backup channel now if you haven't. If you want to support this channel, please consider becoming a Patreon. That is linked below. This channel could always use support. It could use your support if you find this channel useful. I obviously put out a lot of content. A lot of time goes into all of this. I try my best. I fight the censorship. I do what I can. So if you want to help, that's a way that you can help if you feel led to help. I thank you guys for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.